Pounders, we are live and on time, as always, as promised. I have some exciting news for you guys. I have started, I'm at pick 60 right now for the rankings. So through 5 rounds, and I'm going to pull this up on the big screen now. Very excited to release these free rankings to all the subscribers of the Pound for your best ball needs and drafts this offseason. We'll be updating them every so often, probably bi-weekly, for the Pounders in the chat. So let's bring this up. Super excited to show everybody. Here it is. So we went through and identified the values, whether they're great, good, great, whatever, fair or poor, and some reasonings behind it below. Now, Travis Kelce at 4 is rich. And obviously, we're starting to see Cooper creep, and Cooper Kupp will be in the 4 spot probably by the end of the week. Now, again, if this was an 18-round draft, Kelce, maybe we put him in yellow if he falls to, 6 or 7. He should be right about here. Again, we're seeing Diggs creep above Eckler as well. Just something to note for the Pounders in the chat. We are going to be getting into a big board draft. Probably going to do 2 drafts tonight. But yeah, super excited to get into the rankings with you guys. Got my top 60 done so far. And if it's something that you're interested in, I'll be happy to send it over to you guys. So let's pull up. Let's pull up the big board so we can put this into the works here. All right. So we got 7 people in the chat right now. Hopefully we get a few of you in this draft, and I'm not the 12 out of 12. And as always, we're doing the countdown for the chat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're in. Waiting on 7 people, so we should get every single one of you that wants to join. Look at us filling up the big board. Bunch of sickos. Love you guys. Love the energy. Love the energy. Waiting on 3 more. But yeah, so far, so good. I think I have some interesting stuff that you're not going to see from anyone else because I typed this up from scratch. This is all thoughts straight from my dome piece right onto a piece of paper. And we're going to probably go to pick 230, 235, right until the end. Maybe we'll do a couple extras that aren't being drafted. We're going ham. We're going all the way. Pick 6. All right. We're right next to our man. I was inverted. Of course, NF42 is in the chat. H.J. Wigglesworth, been drafting with him a lot as of late. Do me a favor if you guys are in the draft. Let me know what spot you're at. We got Short Gamer TV. Recognizing a lot of these names. Joel 3, Lenny. Awesome to be sandwiched between 2 sharps here in NF42, and I was inverted. Got to test your man. Now's the day. Now's the time. H.J. Wigglesworth. I feel like he's in every single one of my drafts. Curious if he's in the live stream or not. Show yourself. If you are, show yourself. He's on the clock. I've seen JJ or Chase pretty much mutually interchangeable here at the 1 spot. If you're heavy on one person, you can easily go Chase or Jefferson, depending. Like I was getting Jefferson at 2 and 3 when I was at the 2 and 3 spot, so I don't have a lot of Chase. Just the way it works out. I want a lot of Chase. CMC off the board at 4. Expecting this to be a Cooper Kupp or Hill. Yeah. I don't mind Tyreek Hill ahead of Cooper Kupp due to the age, and they both have their risks, though. Hill has the risks with Tua. Cooper Kupp, another year older. I still expect him to eat this year. He was on pace to be wide receiver 1 again last year. So, but again, LA Rams fell apart last season. So, Ben, just a tick late. We did start it up a few minutes into the live stream. We waited a few minutes. What you did miss is I'm dropping my rankings probably by the end of the week with player write-ups, not the end of this week, end of next week. So let's say by next Saturday, those will be done and released to the people. To the people. I stayed up. Were you drafting all night again? You must be running out of big board drafts. Amon-Ra St. Brown here going at 11. Waddle and Garrett Wilson at the 12-13 turn. So you can expect this to be a wide receiver heavy draft. It tells me that the room is sharper than the average. Eckler falling behind Bijan and Taylor to the 16 spot. Seen him go as late as 18. Josh Allen off the board. I'm going to go Devonta Smith over Higgins. Now, Devonta Smith and T. Higgins, I don't think they're the craziest, like, best value players in this draft. At wide receiver, piss boy draft, 100%. You can just tell by the names, 100%. So, for example, like T. Higgins on a points per game basis last year finished as wide receiver 15, right? He's going as wide receiver 11. He has some question marks as to where he's going to land. And Devonta Smith, same thing, finishes wide receiver 17 on a points per game basis, and he's going as wide receiver 12. The problem being in tournaments, these players have the potential to spike and have those enormous weeks. So you don't want to fade them. But if this was cash versus tournament, I would be significantly under market share on both of those players. Wide receiver really being pushed off the board. We got Mahomes going at 22. These QBs are already starting to move back towards the 2-3 turn, which they really already should be in these 20-round drafts. Joe Burrow at 26. Oh, naked too. Naked Joe Burrow. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Mark Andrews here at 33 is interesting. Like if we're drafting Travis Kelce at pick 5 overall, Mark Andrews shouldn't be pick 33. Let's see what the fellas want to do. We're going to start with Nick Chubb. I do not own a lot of Nick Chubb this year, so I think that the way the season ended last year when they brought in Watson, they wanted to see what he could do. You could see like the running game took a back seat, except for week 18. It was Nick Chubb absolutely had a monster game, but I think they wanted to see what Watson could do. So OC kind of changed the game plan for more pass happy style. They're going to get back to the run. Nick Chubb also, we got Kareem Hunt potentially out of town, most likely out of town. Dearness Johnson, free agent. So Nick Chubb could be in line for another enormous season. He's going to be a safe cash play too. Tournaments, we sort of know what he is. He has the potential to finish in that RB5, 6 range, but he doesn't really have the potential to finish as RB1 due to his limited role in the pass game. So still going to want a little Nick Chubb. 2 touchdown upside, can spike for week 17, and that's really what matters. Tony Pollard, one of my favorite value running backs, going at pick 35. Tony Pollard. Is anyone else high on Tony Pollard, or is it just me? Because going off the board as RB17 after finishing as RB7 last year, I don't know. It seems like an insane value to me. 3 RB build start for Chill Zone. Interesting. Lamar pairing it with Mark Andrews. Beautiful. Now, these are two that are just absolute great values. Lamar Jackson has it in his range of outcomes to finish as QB1. There's no doubt. Same thing with Justin Fields. It is in their range of outcomes just due to how much upside they have on the ground with their legs. And then you pair it with a Mark Andrews. Yes, please. So let's get Justin Fields here. Speaking of the man, after ADP, about 6 picks. Ben, we are hopping into another one after this, so you will have your chance. You will have your chance to redeem yourself. Kittle off the board at 44. Followed by DJ Moore. I like DJ Moore in this round as well. He was being picked, early in the 3rd round last year? Sort of near T. Higgins and Michael Pittman. And we're expecting better quarterback play this year, right? So DJ Moore seems like a value in this round to me. Amari Cooper is going to be someone that you're not going to want to fade, but I think he's interesting this year. He has a lot of range of outcomes because Deshaun Watson has a lot of range of outcomes. Going wide receiver at the 4-5 turn here for hand job Wigglesworth. Judy at 47. Is that a little reach there? A little reach, 5 picks. Doesn't even count. Drake London going at 50. I'll tell you guys my thoughts on Drake London another day. But for starters, if we are all so high on Drake London with Pitts returning, why is Desmond Ridder? Now, is he not going to be the QB next year? I don't know. But if he is the last starting QB off the board. There are 4 rookies going off the board before him. If you're high on London, you're either praying for a QB change or the math is not adding up. Let's go Christian Kirk here. I like Swift. I think Swift's a great value in this range. But a little teardrop off after Kirk here at wide receiver. And we're getting him 5 picks after ADP. I have a feeling like these hungry hippos behind me that love wide receiver push Jalen Waddle all the way to 12, Garrett Wilson to 13. I have a feeling that they might be looking for wide receivers. So Dalvin Cook at 57 seems interesting. Seems like a good value to me, at least for this season. Now, is it the RB dead zone? I don't know if it exists this year. I really don't. I am fading like Joe Mixon. I'm not going to have a large amount of Cook. I'll probably be around like 6% by the end of the 150 drafts. I'd rather an Aaron Jones, to be honest, who just restructured his contract. We know where he's going. I think Aaron Jones should be ahead of Dalvin Cook right now. See Keenan Allen kind of falling, which does make sense. We don't know where he's going to be next season. Not going to be like the big touchdown guy. He's never has been. More of a cash game wide receiver that gives you a good weekly floor. I would much rather a Marquise Brown here. Marquise Brown or Aaron Jones. There it is. He made the decision for me. What I think is interesting about this Seattle situation with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett outscored DK Metcalf. And I believe he played one less game. And he's going, 30 picks after him? So something to look out for here. Tyler Lockett should be much closer to DK Metcalf. And he's like the perfect best ball guy. He has the opportunity to spike any given week. He has touchdown upside. That's what you were looking for. So let's see if one of these fall. We have Kupp, Smith, Christian Kirk, Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, Justin Fields at QB. So we're good at QB for a while. We're good at running back for a while. We can kind of lean on these two guys. We got Aaron Jones 7 picks after ADP too. Cash that check. Cash that check. Short Gamer TV, welcome to the live stream. Love Tony Pollard's price. Amazing value right now. Couldn't agree more. All right. So all three just get sniped. I'm fine with these two wide receivers. Gabe Davis is just so mediocre. I can't do it. I can't do Gabe Davis. I wasn't on him last year. I'm not on him this year. I just think he's a replaceable wide receiver. Falcons bring in a new QB. That is the story of where London is being drafted. They would have to bring in a new QB for him to be worth that pick. I've seen Lamar Jackson go into Atlanta. I've seen some crazy things on the internet, on the interwebs. But guys, if you haven't already, drop a like on the live stream. Helps tremendously. We'll get in another draft after this one. Subscribe if you like best ball content. We're giving out our free draft rankings to all the subscribers of the Pound. And maybe you guys will pick some of these running backs off the board for us. We would greatly appreciate that because we need to keep stacking wide receiver here. It gets thin fast. It gets thin fast at wide receiver. We could be looking at like a Mooney later. I don't know if he's going to fall on the... Yeah, 102 would be a little reach, but for a stack, it's not egregious. Not egregious at all. Gabe broke my heart last year. I think I owned 2% Gabe Davis. One of my first shorts was on Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis hate. Let's bring in our third running back. They're just too good of values to give up right here. Too good of values to give up. Next pick's going to be a wide receiver. I like Zay Flowers, but I have a feeling he ends up in New England. Paul going Danny Dimes. He says, yes, please. I'll take that rushing upside QB right now. 10 picks before ADP. Travis Etienne, Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, JSN, Mike Evans, Quentin Johnston, and George Kittle. So very balanced build so far from Paul. Let's pull up the big board. Let's see how Short Gamer started. He goes A.J. Brown, JT, Mark Andrews, Lamar, Jamison Williams, Tyler Lockett, Jahan Dotson, Javonte Williams at 87. It's really nice. Really nice. Hopefully he can get back to somewhat to his old self by like week 10. I think that's what you're kind of hoping for at pick 87. I'd probably prefer to just go Tyler Algier, Cam Akers, or James Conner. I'm going to have Javonte ranked after, just due to you're not going to be able to push as many lineups through, but I get it. It's an upside pick. I just expect him to keep falling. Joel 3 took both of my stack options in Tua and Lance. Absolute savage move at the 12 spot. Back to back. Tua going early, Tua at 84. And Lance usually goes at 102. So he really reached up and just swiped them right from you, huh? Dirty, dirty dog. Dirty, dirty dog. You can say that because it's Underdog. Did Mooney get sniped? Mooney got sniped at 98, which I guess isn't really as... Are you in the live stream? All right. We'll bring in a burner. I think he fits with this squad really well. Jalen Hyatt going to be a burner in this draft class. Someone that can make a big play. And we'll just kind of see where he ends up. You are being charged for that speed. Going to pick 102 is not a small price to pay. So Khalil Herbert off the board. This team's 4th running back. Murdog 13. Name sounds very familiar. And Ep.5 going a different build from what he usually does for sure. Stacking Herbert, potentially re-signing Keenan Allen, Dak with CeeDee Lamb. So I like it. Schultz potentially re-signing in Dallas. That's going to depend on how much they trust Jake Ferguson to carry Schultz's load. Don't make a joke there. Don't make a joke. DPJ would have been interested in on the way back around. Didn't think he was going to fall. So Darren Waller fallen so far 16, 17 picks. Falling after Schultz, Ingram, and Freiermuth. Interesting. Now, Darren Waller is that guy. He's that best ball dream player where he could have an explosion type year. And to get him around this price would be really nice. But I don't think he's going to make it back to us. We'll see. 4 of these teams already have tight ends. Probably not worth going a second tight end this early. You could pair him with different QBs you think are going to end up in Vegas. Let's see. See what Short Gamer wants to do. We're not looking at QBs in this range. I think this is such a disgusting range for QBs. Well, Goff I like, but Russ, Kyler, Geno Smith, Rodgers, Staffy, Derek Carr. I just think it's an absolute gross range. And at 42, sees the value, 21 picks. He said you are not getting Darren Waller 23 picks after ADP as your first tight end. Although I would have gladly accepted that. Murdog probably would have sniped him anyways. Let's go up and grab our boy. Get a little stacky stack with Justin Fields. We really saw like around week 6, them starting to click. Week 7. Komet has 2 touchdown upside. Let's see. Elijah Moore off the board at 117. I think if we're pushing Garrett Wilson into the second round at pick 13, there's no way Elijah Moore shouldn't be going in this 90 range. So I think Elijah Moore is a great value. Should definitely be ahead of this range. I'm high on DPJ. Darnell Mooney at 98 is kind of rich, but Elijah Moore, no more LaFleur in town at OC, which he was bickering with in practice. So I think he has a better year this year. Especially we're expecting a new QB in New York. Even if it's Derek Carr, 117, 121, probably a little too far. We're letting him slide a little too far. Let's see. Not going to be interested in these QBs after we select Justin Fields at 43. Our last pick was Jalen Hyatt. Getting into the dead zone here, right? Like I have one wide receiver that I like here, and he's gone. Palmer with the potential of Keenan Allen skipping town. I think there's a huge jump off after Palmer's gone. He's just shown the potential to have those spike weeks when Keenan Allen was out or when Mike Williams was out. If Keenan Allen skips town and you have Mike Williams, who's guaranteed to miss 2 games, that's being generous. I think that is really interesting at 123. Bringing our 4th running back. We're going to be good on running back for a while. I like Kayshawn, but we just picked a rookie wide receiver. We'll see if he comes back around. Not really interested in Hodgins unless I have Danny Dimes. And even then, I find my eye starts to twitch a little bit when I select him. So not completely sold on Hodgins at this ADP. You're more doing it for the stack value, in my opinion, than you would be for upside. So naked Hodgins, not my favorite. Put some clothes on. Let's pull up the board here. Gainwell off the board at 131. Maybe no Miles Sanders in town. That being said, Gainwell's not walking into an RB1 role. They don't see him as an RB1. This is exactly like Alexander Madison. They're not giving them even change of pace type carries. So not as high as many of the analysts that I've read threads and threads on Twitter. I'm not on board with that. I'm not on board with this ADP. I just don't think that they have the high upside for where they're going. Like an Elijah Mitchell, maybe CMC gets hurt. If not, he still has a role in the offense. He's a change of pace guy. He has 2 touchdown upside. He scored 2 touchdowns his first game back from injury. So he has proved it already. And he has a role, whether CMC's hurt or not. But imagine CMC does go down. Now we have 4 RB1 to RB2s. Have a sip of my coffee as we wait Murdog's decision. Interesting. I think this is a really good spot to bring in a Kyler Murray. 23 picks after ADP, 2 rushing QBs. Justin Fields has a nice floor with the rushing, so we might be able to get away with just going 2 QBs. I'm curious what you guys think in the chat. I think you might be able to get away with going just 2 QBs. Kyler Murray should be back before Justin Fields' bye week, et cetera. Might be a little risky, but no one won $200,000 not taking a risk. So that is a fact. When we won Battle Royale, week 18, no one started Russell Wilson, and we took that shot. Elijah Mitchell's ADP. Yeah, it's it's me. I'm bringing it down myself. I think it started in around 150, 155. I used my most owned running back. I think I have him in 40% of leagues. So I like stacking Herbert with the rookie tight ends. I 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. That's why I think I have Gerald Everett on one team. Now, it might burn me, but I have a feeling it's not going to. All those tight ends in the middle groups are sort of bunched together. They're not going to score a ridiculous amount of points more than the next guy. So all the way down to Hunter Henry, like who goes at 220. And that's why Kelsey's value is not as strong in these 20-round drafts, because the tight end value goes so deep. Jake Ferguson, even here at 226. Darnell Washington's an interesting ad. If you look this guy up on the Google machine, he's an absolute monster of a human being. Just think of Shaq playing football. Pierce gets sniped. Not surprised. Not surprised. Let's bring in I'm reaching. We're going down. We're reaching way down. We're reaching way down. We're just going to go get our guy. 25 picks before ADP. We need a receiver here. Being stuck with 5 with the potential of my 2 favorite guys going in that range being off the board, I just can't. I can't fathom. I won't be able to look at the lineup afterwards. Whereas I can get by without a Michael Mayer, having Cole Kmet, and then 2 other random tight ends. Yeah. I don't know who's doing the projections, but they're not fixing them. It's been like that for a while. Oh no, Beckham, the more expensive Will Fuller this year. Kenny Pickett off the board at 155. In my opinion, shouldn't Kenny Pickett and Desmond Ridder sort of be in the same range? Does anyone else feel that way? Like, I think Kenny Pickett's going too soon. I think Kenny Pickett should be pushed much further back. Richardson down to 187 already. Yes. I love it. Anyone see the odds change on Richardson to the Colts? It started at like 10,000 plus 10,000. It was at plus 5,000. I retweeted it last night on the Twitter machine. And then it went to plus 2,500. And then as of this morning, it was plus 750. So the odds are getting more and more likely that Indy trades into that one spot. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, though. Odell Beckham off the board. Interesting pick in Claypool. I'm off Claypool this year. That being said, with Justin Fields, I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him on board. So this is what I was saying with let's reach up and get Shaheed, because I wanted both of these players on this team. I wanted both of them. And if I waited to here to pick Shaheed, he might have been gone here. Or I might not have been able to get Thornton on the way back around at 174. So that's why you saw this egregious reach. But it's not egregious if it works. Ben says Pickett was good and has high draft capital. Ritter has no capital and didn't show anything. I mean, they ran the ball every single play. And Pitts was out hurt. Now you're getting a healthy Pitts. Tyler Algier sort of picked it up at the end of the year. Paul says, I think Pickett is getting a full season to see if he's the guy, but don't know if Ritter gets any shot at all. Very true. Very true. Who do we think ends up in Atlanta at QB? Who's a good QB for Drake London and Kyle Pitts? If you guys can sell me on it, I'm all for it. Who do you guys want to see end up in Atlanta? Throwing the ball to both Pitts and Drake London. Lamar. I've seen a lot of Lamar to Atlanta. It scares me. I don't know. Honestly, I think that would be better for Pitts than London, but and Pitts is ADP, right? Positional value is more important in the 18 round drafts. I'm thinking 18 round drafts. It's going to be more important for me. We can bring in our first. I want Trey McBride. Yep, I understand. Reaching over Zach Ertz. I've been doing it a lot. I've heard rumblings of Tannehill. Could be interesting. Tannehill will get you in the playoffs. Not going to win you the playoffs, but he'll get you there. I like Tannehill this year as a late round QB2. He has that rushing floor, obviously, when he's not hurt. He posted these like exact numbers in 2020 as well as 2021. P. Ryan off the board at 180. So let's see. It's going to be 2 QB. Probably end up with, we're going to need 3 tight ends. Could argue stopping at 5 running backs. We'll just sort of see who's there for value. We have our workhorse backs, right? In these 3, we have an upside / good bye week guy, in my opinion, and Elijah Mitchell. Now we can sort of try to shoot for the moon and try to sneak our way into another RB1. Zach Evans off the board. Let's go Kendrick Miller here. Values all over the place at tight end in these late rounds. Value after value. How's this wide receiver room looking? I think it looks pretty damn good. That's just me, though. No bias at all. Paul, I knew it. I should have reached on Miller, and Paul gave me one of the biggest compliments he could have. He told me that he hates drafting with me. I really did appreciate that. I took that as the nicest possible way. This is where I'm comfortable getting Miller, 187, all the way to like 180. Mixing in some Zach Evans in there. We'll just sort of see where they go in the draft, how much draft capital teams are willing to spend on them. Will sort of predict their role in the offense. So I think the Chargers are a strong candidate to select another running back in this year's draft after missing 3 years in a row. Saw them in 2020, 2022 select Isaiah Spiller in the 4th round. You had 2021, it was Roundtree, but that was like a 6th round pick, so not much draft capital there. And then 2020, it was Joshua Kelly, another 4th round running back. So they are trying to find at least a change of pace running back behind Eckler. Terrace Marshall off the board at 196. Go get your boys. Go get your boys. Sam Howell off the board. Do you have any stacks with them? No stacks. I like Jalen Warren in this spot, but I don't know how much he really does for my team. Let's go Jelani Woods. I like Jelani Woods. I like Juwan Johnson in this range for tight ends. Dalton Kincaid's a fun pick. But I think I have a little more question marks with Trey McBride for my roster construction here. So we'll go Jelani Woods, who I think his role is extremely safe. Going to Kincaid here. Sort of taking a risk. Not a bad one, but not for this roster construction. So let's see. We have how many rounds left? 2 or 3? 3 rounds left. It's going to be 1 running back and 2 receivers. And I think we have a good amount of safe floor. We have upside guys. We have enough upside guys, that's for sure. Shaheed, Tyquan Thornton. We have our 3 tight ends. Our running back room's looking strong. Our QB room's looking strong. Especially if we get any news. Imagine getting news that Kyler Murray's ahead of schedule and you get him at pick 140. Yeah. Now, most likely he will not be healthy to start the season, but it's early. It's early. I'm talking about it's not even March yet, so remember getting news that Gus Edwards was going to be ready before Dobbins? It was the exact opposite. I like this pick. Snipey snipe. McIntosh is someone that the NFL is going to value more because of his pass catching abilities. Zach Ertz off the board at 210. That's insane value. 30 picks. I like Zamir White. If I was going to go a receiver, maybe they'll come back around. We'll see. We'll hold off. It gets thin up here. I think Zamir White has some of the highest upside amongst these running backs, along with McIntosh, along with another rookie RB in Deuce, Israel. I'm mixing in these players. I'm mixing in Eric Gray, who, if you look at their tape, I mean, a lot of these players look really, really good, and they could have serviceable roles in the NFL. And we're getting them in the 19th round, 18th, 19th, 20th round. So that's where you want to take your dart throws. Say likely going at 216. Just concerns me that when Mark Andrews was healthy, Isaiah likely didn't have a huge role. There was 1 week where they were both involved, and Isaiah likely had a good game. I mean, I think they should be doing a lot of 2 tight end sets with Isaiah Likely, especially when you had Duvernay as your wide receiver 1 when Bateman went down. Bateman went down. It was an ugly situation. Mark Andrews was hurt for a few games. Will Levis goes to the team with just Jalen Hurts. No, he also has Anthony Richardson. Don't think you need to pick him, but it's not egregious. I think when we're talking about receivers that have a role next year, Devontae Parker really sticks out in this range. Corey Davis, we don't know where he's going to be. Plus, he can't stay healthy. I think there is a little bit of a bright side with Bill O'Brien going to the Patriots. And we have 2 New England players, of course. Of course. No bias. Damn it. Now, I truly think that he has the best role of these remaining players. You can add in Russell Gage if you want a floor guy. I think Russell Gage is interesting. I think Kendrick Bourne could be interesting if they released him and he ended up on the right team, because he's shown flashes of making big plays. We're digging deep into the pockets here, really pulling out the sleeps. Hunter Henry going at 225. I like these Patriots late round values just because I think they have that next step going into next year. I think they really show that next step, especially if Myers is not there. You are losing how many? Yeah, you're going to need to fill another 100 targets this year. Myers, Nelson Aguilar, who I don't think is going to be a Patriot. It's another 53 gone. So 150 targets up for grabs. And I think the offense is a little better under Bill O'Brien. So we can go wide receiver here. We can just kind of go an upside rookie. It's probably my favorite play. Tillman was going to be one of those guys. CEH, I think, is interesting at the end of drafts, along with Michael Carter at 230, especially for like 0 running back builds. We know that Knight's there. We know that Breece Hall is there, but I'm talking pick 30. Pick 230, 20th round. Digging deep. I like it. I'm here for it. I'm going to go Tyler Scott for this team. All right, let's pull it up. What do we got? Cooper Kupp, Devonta Smith, Nick Chubb, Justin Fields, Christian Kirk, Aaron Jones, Rashad Bateman, James Conner, Jalen Hyatt, Cole Kmet, Elijah Mitchell, Kyler Murray, Rashid Shaheed, Tyquan Thornton, Trey McBride, Kendre Miller, Jelani Woods, Zamir White, Devontae Parker, and Tyler Scott. And we'll go over the other squads. Once this ends, we'll pull up another big board draft. If you can do me a favor, drop a like on the live stream before we get into the next big board draft. It'll help tremendously. Try to get this to as many people. Tell your mom about the live stream. Tell your grandma. Bring your pet lizard. And let's get it going. Let's draft the winner live. That'd be kind of fun. Deuce Vaughn. I like it. I like it. Going very late there. Let's pull this up. Short gamer, AJ Brown, JT, Mark Andrews, Lamar Jackson, Stack, Jameson Williams, Tyler Lockett, Jahan Dotson, Javonte. You got DPJ, Josh Downs, Jared Goff, A-Chain, Isaiah Hodgins, Michael Mayer. You have Damian Harris, Penny, Jalen Warren, Marvin Mims, Xavier Hutchinson, and Cedric Tillman. So 3, 4 rookie wide receivers. You have 2 returning wide receivers. You can argue that Jameson might be sort of a rookie. He didn't play too many snaps, but I like it. Overall high upside build. And F42 with CeeDee Lamb, Saquon Barkley, Ramondre Stevenson, Mike Williams, Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Dak Prescott, Tyler Algier, Schultz, Waller, disgustingly far after ADP, Kayshawn, Michael Gallup, Madison, Chase Claypool, Mechie, Patterson, McKenzie, Kenny, Puka, and Jonathan Mingo. Another super strong build. Paul, Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, Travis Etienne, George Kittle, JSN, Mike Evans, Quentin Johnston, Daniel Jones, Rashad White, beautiful, Dylan, Russell Wilson, Rondell Moore, Alec Pierce, Jasecki, Tank, Roshon, you got Sam Howell, Chuba, KJ Hamler, and Israel. All right. Strong teams. We'll do a countdown so no one panic. Don't panic. I'm here for it. I really am. You are spending a 16th rounder on him, and he has the potential to really have those spike weeks near the end of the season where you want him in the fantasy football playoffs. So I'm high on the rookie. I'm trying to get more of him. I'm around like 14%. I'd like to be around 20%, but yeah, people are just, you want to get him at a value, right? In every single draft, he is valued differently. So it's tough to plan to get him, but I do have him on some indie teams. So I think that's super interesting. Thank you, Ben. Seeing a lot of Tyler Scott hype. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be one of those 20th round guys, dart throw. If he ends up on the right team, could do big things. Let's do a little 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. Waiting on 5 people. We should be able to get everyone in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Fill the room. Just like that. Pounders are in the chat. And I just can't get away from my man, NF42. We got Leo, Ben, NF42, HJ Wigglesworth must be a listener, right? Has to be a listener. He's just lurking in the shadows right now. Short Gamer TV, Paul, Joel 3 might be a listener too, lurking in the shadows. Speak now, forever hold your peace. I'll take Bijan Robinson no matter what pick Underdog gives me. Oh, man. I had a lot of early Bijan around pick 18, 17, 16, and I love him in this range. Now that the QBs are drifting up the board, you're not seeing him fall here anymore. You're not seeing Amon-Ra fall here anymore to 19, 20, which is where I was scooping them as much as possible early in these drafts. I'm so excited I'm getting one of these 3. Just give me whoever you want. I'm so excited to get a top 3 pick. My variance it's been unlucky so far. So we're only 54, 55 drafts in. So it's nothing. It will swing our way. Just keep telling yourself that. I guess you're welcome for Jamar Chase. You jinxed it. He jinxed it. Can't get Jamar Chase even when. Oh my God. NF42 going Bijan, first pick. Gross. We get JJ at the 3 spot. We'll take it. I love it. I just can't get Chase. It's so weird. GG Bijan at 2. And you want to know what? It's not the craziest thing, right? Because he's going to end up with a different build that other teams cannot get unless you reach on someone like Bijan. So it's sort of a big brain play. It might be negative EV in the long run, but you only need one lineup to win, right? It only takes one lineup. So who's to say this isn't the one? Just because he picks Bijan at 2 doesn't necessarily mean he's out. I'm a man of my word. He did say this. He did say this before the draft. Diggs going at 10. What happened here? Kelsey fell to 6. You had A.J. Brown go ahead of Diggs. I don't hate it. I really don't. I like A.J. Brown over Devontae Adams. I like Diggs over Devontae Adams just because of the unknown. But I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. They're all in the same tier. CeeDee Lamb, followed by Breece Hall at the 1-2 turn. A little 1-2 step. Austin Eckler falling to 11, which this should be his ADP. Amon-Ra St. Brown at 14. Beautiful. Beautiful. Was hoping that was coming and not a 2 RB start. Although, hey, a 2 RB start won. Venmo me $10 and I'll hop on the next draft. My friend. You got it. You got it. I'll spot you. I will spot you. It is early to be doing these best ball drafts, but guess what? Once it comes down to those 18-round drafts in these next tournaments to follow after the NFL like combine and the draft, we're going to be overly prepared. Used to literally selecting no-namers in the 19th, 20th round. Some of these rookies are going to end up on teams where they're not going to have a role. So that's why we're just hand selecting a few on each team, hoping we create a super team instead of selecting 5, 6. You're not going to hit on all 5 or 6. You'd be lucky if you hit on 1 or 2. So if you do only have 3, 4 guys, wow. A.J. Brown here seems really, really good because we got Justin Jefferson at 3, and he's typically not going past 2. And Jalen Hurts is not following this far on average. So we'll do this just to get a little different. That just threw my brain for a spin. Yeah, of course we're not going to get Devonta Smith to fall back to us. That would just be the dream. That would be the dream. Yeah. Yeah, kind of figured. Kind of figured you were going to do that. Create max pain for me. Where's our next pick? It's at 46. We have to go wide receiver here. We have to go wide receiver. I have a lot of DK Metcalf. I'm not doing this every single time. So don't think I am. It's more just of an exposure smooth out. When I have 2 players in the same tier, I will select the player that I have less exposure to. Yeah, and I don't want you to, and I don't expect you to. But yeah, double wide receiver here at the 2-3. 100% agree with that. Especially after starting Bijan. Because we're going to see a lot of these wide receivers go off the board, and you can pretty much guarantee I pick one at 46. Chubb, Jacobs, and ETN off the board. Leo in the live stream, and he's got a Devontae Adams Mahomes start. Who's he going to add? Bringing it all the way down to double zeros, triple zeros. Deebs. I like it. I like it. Debo. I will admit, I do not have a lot of in this range. Mostly because I like these running backs right here. Another one. Paul's on the clock. He has Eckler and Amon-Ra start. I like the Andrews pick because you're pretty much guaranteeing you'll get one of those receivers on the way back around, right? So you go Andrews here. 2 picks goes by. Could potentially get the Lamar stack. Or you can get one of the receivers. DJ Moore going at 37. Really wanted DJ there. He was going to be one of the receivers we thought were going to fall to us at 46. Does Paul go the absolute even build and 1 QB, 1 running back? No, he doesn't. He mixes it up. He says, give me Mike Williams because he wants to go all in on the Chargers every chance he gets. Paul, are you a Chargers fan? Let us know in the chat. Paul, you are inverted. I see you every draft I've ever done. Yeah. He is always grinding, if you know Paul. Damn. Lamar going to the Josh Allen squad. Yet to have picked a wide receiver. Probably going to be a 2 QB, 2 tight end build, which lets him go 10 to 11 receivers, 5 or 6 running backs. I mean, it's pretty much looking like this for me. I don't think he's going to go running back after having 2. Do the Zeke right there. Not feed me, but just scoop. Just scoop. Pittman off the board at 47. Hey, Terry off the board. Was eyeing Terry. Let's see where our next pick is. 70 and 75. JSN off the board. Interesting. I don't love it. We'll go Kittle here. Let's get a little different. I do not own a lot of Kittle, maybe 1 or 2 drafts, and he's not someone that you should be fading that often. He has those spike weeks. That's what we're looking for. High upside. Paul says he is a 49ers fan. What a hype team to be a fan of right now. I'm jealous. Super jealous. Herbert goes to the Lamar Josh Allen team. No wide receivers yet. Bold, dumb, not sure. You can call it whatever you want. That is going to be extremely tough to come back from, especially spending these 2 picks. That's what draft capital. It's going to be pretty hard. Wonder if he's on auto. Wonder if he's on auto. Gibbs going at 56, followed by Aaron Jones at 57, Tyler Lockett at 58. Pause on the clock. He's got Swift staring him directly in the face, and he selects him. I think that's a good pick. I think that's a really good pick. Because then you have high upside wide receivers still on the board. Unless Joel snipes you back to back, which it doesn't look like he's going to do. He goes Pitts at 60. He's got a nice little start here. Balanced build. Let it build. Let it build. Jordan Addison at 61. Okay, it's not that egregious. We did reach 24 picks on Shaheed. Get your guys. Get your guys. Leo goes Pickens at 65. Ben's on the clock. Da-na-na-na. 13 left. 12 seconds. 11. Nice. It's a great pick after ADP. Not someone I'm seeing falling after ADP a lot. The dream. I know it'll be a 2 tight end start, but we'll be done at tight end. We'll bring in some correlation with Jalen Hurts. And we pick at 75. These teams don't have a tight end. This team could very easily go tight end. He doesn't. We're going to go Goddard here. 7 picks after ADP. We're done at tight end. And we're basically in no certain order putting some wide receivers on the board. Actually glad that Mario just selected Burks because my exposure, it needs to be smoothed out a little bit. Marquise Brown gets sniped one before. Nice pick. This very well could be a Deontay Johnson type squad. Not really interested in going rookie as my third receiver here. You could argue for Bateman, but let's go Deontay Johnson. Someone who I expect him to score more touchdowns this year than 0. Super unlucky with his touchdown rate. Target hog. And he's a good floor guy. So he fits. He fits the build. What's going on in the live chat? You animals. At least I won't be coming in last place this draft, referring to the Josh Allen, Lamar, Justin Herbert team, who still does not have a wide receiver, and we're going into round 8. Has anyone noticed? Is he on autopilot? He just paid the rake. I pray he's on autopilot and he hasn't been drafting 1,000 drafts doing this stuff. Typically his teams have turned out okay. Like I haven't seen anything like this from him. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe something happened. He went on auto. Zay Flowers here at 85. Like how that team's coming, Joel. Cortland Sutton at 86, someone who was severely overpriced last year. And then Tim Patrick got hurt, and Cortland Sutton still busted. But at 86, it's a fair value. Tua going to the Waddle team. I like it. I like it. I like it. If Tua can stay healthy, he's probably my favorite value QB in these middle rounds. You have Dak, you have Kirk, also good values. Four-digit IQ. Oh man, my IQ just dropped 10 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 badgeless folks in the draft. They didn't even know what they got themselves into. I mean, when James Conner falls into your lap, I think you just select James Conner. I view him, and this is a hot take, and it's early because it is February 25th. In this range, he's kind of like the Josh Jacobs of last year. Spicy hot. Don't burn me with that take. But going at pick 94, thought it was a big board super flex draft, or he wants to show his girlfriend those projections. Know what I mean? Look at this, babe. We're about to be rich. We need receivers, and I don't see any on the board. Kirk Cousins wasn't going to be an option for us, so we don't mind that. I like these running backs. 111, let's see. All right. We're just going to do it. We're going to push off wide receiver. Just one more. And we'll see if we can bounce back. We'll see how the wide receiver room looks at the end of the draft. After going too early, middle round, tight ends, and an early QB. I like the wide receiver room. I think this is a great base. I don't have to pick one probably for 6-7 rounds. So let's try to bounce back, see what we get on the way back around. Maybe we get some value to drop because I was not reaching up for a Juju. Hyatt was an option, but I think we can get lucky. It's all luck. Took Cousins to imagine I had JJ this draft. Yep. Yeah, you Cousins is someone you can stack with later too. So it's not the biggest deal. You can grab like a KJ or something. Can't promise he'll be there. Khalil Herbert off the board at the 9-10 turn, followed by Darnell Mooney. Really loving the Chicago offense this year. Joel 3. Pairing it with Jay Fields. I like it a lot. Let's say Chicago has a good year on offense. Surprisingly, they fix some of the holes. They should have a better year. You're betting on one offense. It's easier to make a bet on players that are correlated in order to push lineups through. So I'm for it. I like that strategy a lot. Elijah Moore going at 110. It's 100% should be going ahead of Juju, ahead of Zay Jones, who's wide receiver 3. If they bring back Ingram, maybe the 4th favorite target on the team. Ahead of Tyler Boyd. You could argue Palmer should be somewhere close, but Michael Thomas, interesting stat I saw the other day just doing some research, making the rankings for the boys and girls. Michael Thomas was one of the higher players. He was top 7, top 8 in fantasy points per game. Now, obviously, He didn't play too many games last year. So was he going to be able to keep that up? Probably not. I wanted Palmer to fall back to me. Obviously, it didn't happen. Tyler Boyd's going to be that floor guy, in my opinion. And I already have a Deontay Johnson. You could argue Michael Thomas is good for this roster construction, but I want Robinson first. It's looking something like this. Tyler Boyd I would like if I wanted another floor player, but we have to shoot for the ceiling right now, starting like this. He brings on KJ Osborne, which I agree. Couldn't really risk him being sniped. Otherwise, your Kirk Cousins pick looks kind of ugly. Naked Cousins obviously not going to get there on the ground. He's going to bring some of his pass catchers with him if he hits. Dolchich off the board at 121. Kyler Murray off the board at 122. So some rushing upside for those playoff weeks. And you could argue this is a Michael Thomas team. I'm not high on Michael Thomas. You could argue it, but we're not going to do it. Let's go with the high upside rookie instead. I'm sorry. I can't select Michael Thomas and then go to sleep at night. I think he busts. Restructure his contract to take less money. He might not even be the second favorite target on the team over Olave. Now, there is correlation there, which is another reason why I was thinking about it. Maybe we bet on this offense, but man, it's still rich. It's still rich at 127. He played, 3 games? The dude hasn't played football in over 2 years. He's a slant king, but if he can't stay healthy in these games, like 3 touchdowns, 3 games. He was on a heater, and everyone's like, Michael Thomas is back. It's like Michael Thomas got hurt. It's like, oh no. Not gonna lie, I wasn't really on him last year, so it didn't hurt me. Thomas gonna be playing with Gordon before the season ends. Oh, honestly, I want a Josh Gordon XFL jersey. Those jerseys are flames. Flames. And our wide receiver room is already looking less ugly. Cole Kmet going to the Justin Fields team. Glad he didn't reach up for a Claypool here. I don't know how many. I think I stop it at 3 Chicago Bears. I think you have to stop. Dubes off the board at 135 to Short Gamer TV. Michael Thomas at 130. I'm fine with that. I really am. If Michael Thomas falls to this range where you have Zay Jones, Allen Lazard, Hodgins, even Michael Gallup, if you don't have Dak, Rondell Moore, I think, is actually an interesting receiver. So I think he has a large range of outcomes, especially for week 15, 16, 17. Maybe Hopkins is not in town. Zay Jones off the board, fell 22 picks. In my opinion, sort of where he should be going. So I'm fine with that value. Scoop the value, Ben. Scoop the value. He's got his three RBs right here. 2 juggernauts, followed by an upside pick in Sean Tucker. Expected to run, I believe, a 4.3 40, and he is a bigger style back. So might have some good draft capital. We'll see. We'll see. Why are you talking about my stacks? Where are your stacks? You got more stacks than Burger King, my friend. You relax. You relax. Marquise Brown with Kyler Murray, of course. Kirk with KJ. Stop it. Stop it. I was going Rondell Moore if he was there. So I don't think he was following to you either way. I just don't think Alan Lazard is a good receiver. It's lose-lose with you, man. Like, I know I have to go get my guy, which is so annoying. It's lose-lose. You have 2 picks. You're 100% reaching up. I can't draft with you. Can you get this guy away from me so I can get some value? He's probably going to go both RBs. I think this value at tight end is really good. I think that's really good, especially as your tight end 2 on a team. See? Yeah. It don't matter. It don't matter. I like our 3 RBs. We can find value later too. 166 and 171 if we needed to. Madison off the board. If I go wide receiver here, I pretty much have to go RB, which could be okay. Or I could go running back and then wide receiver running back on the way around. Let me see if I want to see how that plays out. I think that's the right move. Let me know if that's a mistake in your guys' mind. Should I have gone RB there and on the way back go wide receiver running back? Or we'll see who falls at running back. I'm probably going to have to go RB. Let me know what you think. Yeah, Fournette's there and probably would be interested in him if I didn't have Rachaad White. But I'm definitely caught up at wide receiver now. I'm comfortable with this room having to start 3. Probably still going to end up with 9 receivers, which is really nice to think about for this team. 9 receivers. No, it's going to be 8-5, 2-2, 9-5, 2-2, most likely. So 5 running backs. Short game TV going CJ Stroud. Interesting. Gesicki going at 155. Small reach. Might have been able to. Where are you? Might have been able to go get a different player here because he already had 2 tight ends in Kyle Pitts and Cole Kmet. But you get your guy anyways in Tank, someone that we were looking at on the way back around. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for the early snipe. At least it didn't happen 1 pick before. Taking too much Madison before the news breaks when Cook tears his shoulder from playing pickleball with Tom Brady on a sponsorship deal by FTX. Oh my God. Madison, I don't think that they view him as a bell cow back. As I'm about to type bell cow. Mind, where are you? Again, 74 carries. Obviously getting more the year before because Cook was out for longer. He missed games. 74 attempts. He's not even a change of pace back in my mind. Now, this is hedging a bet that let's see, 5 running backs and 4 running backs. There's running backs in here that I can be okay with. Let's go get our guy at receiver because I don't think he's going to be there. Foreman's off the board. So I think Foreman would have been really good for our build with 3 RBs that we bet on Carolina re-signing him, maybe going QB with their first pick. There is a chance that Carolina drafts a running back and Foreman maybe isn't a Panther next year, but I think it makes sense for this squad more than it would on yours. But I'm fine with the pick. Damian Harris, P. Ryan off the board, Claypool off the board. We can go with Jerick McKinnon, who should have a role in the offense next year. He does have touchdown upside. He might be able to provide some of those spike weeks. So I'm fine with going to Jerick McKinnon here. Should have a decent floor as well. So this is when people zig, you have to zag. You know what I mean? So like a little bit of duck, dip, dive, duck, dodge. Got to do it. And you got to be able to tell a story with your roster. Yeah, I 100% agree with this. Let me check my exposure on Madison. I know it's not high. It's not high. Madison. It's higher than I thought. It's at 9%, which is right around market average. I don't think it's a bad pick, but I know I've been picking him when he falls. I would rather a Madison at this range than a Kenneth Gainwell at 124. Both viewed as, sort of the same exact thing. If Sanders moves on, you're not just gonna like, hey, Kenneth, I guess you're the next man up. You touched the ball 30 times last year. You're now our number 1. I don't see it happening. I see them bringing in a running back in Philly. And I see them throwing the ball more if Sanders is out. So that's another thing to note. Madison, very similar. Very similar. I think Jerick McKinnon at 171. What's everyone's thoughts on Jerick McKinnon? Because we've seen him spike 20-point, 25-point weeks, multiple touchdown weeks. I 100% agree here. Madison's best path is Cook and him are playing in the same offense again, and Cook goes down with an injury, and there's no time to re-sign anyone at the end of the year. That is the best outcome for Alexander Madison. So in cash game, like Madison, I have him probably like at 211. In cash, like Kenneth Gainwell is probably in this 150, 160 range. Maybe even 170. But in tournaments where we're looking for upside, maybe Cook does get hurt for those weeks. The problem is trying to plan for injuries, and you don't get to pick what weeks they get injured. Almost just spilled my entire water. Italians talking with their hands. You don't get to pick what week Dalvin Cook gets injured. Maybe he gets injured week 13 to 15. Great. You get one playoff week out of him. But he's not, like, I think an Elijah Moore who has more of a significant role, like 45 carries. And in how many games did he play? So much higher on an Elijah Mitchell than I am Madison and Gainwell. Man, I like Warren in this spot where we're going like 4 RBs, but I don't like him when you have Najee Harris. So is this where we... Gross. Like, does Miami bring in an RB? Maybe. Let's shoot for the moon. Let's shoot for the moon. We kind of know what Mostert is. After they brought in Jeff Wilson, like his production dropped. So this is very it's tricky. It's tricky to look at because his production dropped when they brought in Jeff Wilson. I think he ends up on the Chiefs. These players get addicted to winning. Tannehill off the board. I think we just have to go Mac Jones here. We have Tyquan Thornton. I think we have to go Mac. As much as I don't want to. We have 3 picks after this to kind of shore up our running back and wide receiver room. What other QBs do you want to go? Like a Kyle Trask at the end. Maybe he ends up in Tampa Bay. I don't know. After ADP to 15, 16, 15 picks. Could be worse. We waited as long as we could on QB. We selected how many wide receivers in a row? 5. And we had to catch up on running back. We caught up at QB. I think we ended up balancing it pretty well for the 2 tight end middle of the rounds. I think we still ended up with some of our guys. We ended up with an upside rookie. We have a nice floor player in Deontay Johnson. Maybe he'll score a touchdown this year. How general strategies change tournaments and cash. Yeah. And the thing is, like, you should have at least an idea in your mind who is a cash game guy versus who is a tournament guy. Because these ADPs are being averaged every single day. People are doing cash games. They're joining cash games as many as people are joining these big boards. So that ADP is being averaged all together. So I'm going to be releasing a tournament, not ADP, but it's going to be tiers. And I'm going to go by round. And I've already started it. I have 5 rounds done. And I marked off who's a good value in that round, who is a fair value, and who's a poor value. I also have some stars for players that I'm high on in that range. And then I wrote up a little blurb at the bottom about each round. So I'm going to do this all the way through round 20, and it's going to be free for all you guys, all the subs to the pound. Use it, abuse it, or just read it and kind of take your own thoughts and form your own opinions, because that's what I do. I try to get as much information from different people, and then I form my own thoughts around it. I use it to help me, to guide me, maybe to show that, okay, what I'm thinking is correct with some opinions, but you have to form your own thoughts. And then you have to put it into practice, which most people that are good analysts aren't good drafters. Let's see if Van Jeffy falls to us. I think Van Jeffy's will be our last receiver here. Van Jeffy or Matt Collins, I think, are fine in this range. So we have 2 picks left. I think they're both going to be running backs. We have our 2 QBs. We are strong at tight end. I believe we are now strong at receiver. Jefferson, Olave, Deontay Johnson, Wan'Dale Robinson, Kayshon Boutte, got Alec Pierce, Sky Moore. So some 2-year guys with upside. Another 2-year guy, another 2-year guy, a floor guy, which maybe he'll spike once this year, but typically a floor guy in Deontay Johnson, and Van Jeffy, who is someone that in these late rounds can spike into your lineup with a long touchdown. Same thing with Matt Collins, going to depend where he lands, but I don't think Van Jeffy should be going in this range. He should be going sooner. Terrace Marshall, a lot of analysts that are smarter than me some of their favorite picks, Terrace Marshall. So these are two nice back-to-back picks in the late rounds. Now we're going running back here, and man, it gets ugly. It gets ugly fast at RB. Who makes the most sense? Maybe Pierre Strong. I think Pierre Strong makes sense. Potential injury to Stevenson, who is getting an enormous workload next year. That being said, Patriots could draft another running back, and we can come back to this pick and be like, ha, you're an idiot. I'll be like, yeah, I know. Thanks. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that pick. That ended off with most likely a rookie running back with some upside. And what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Did I come back from this 3 wide receivers in the first 10 rounds squad? Did I make it serviceable? Can this move forward? And actually, do I need another running back, or should it be a receiver? You could argue that I have enough. Yeah, it's got to be a running back. I think we're good here at receiver. We have upside. We have floor plays. NF42 referring to McKinnon. If the Chiefs keep him, he's in a good spot. Anyone connected to Mahomes has awesome value. Yeah, it makes McCole Hardman pretty interesting in these late rounds too. Just had surgery on his groin, but again, you don't want him. Well, you want him for the early rounds, right? But every single game is important. But you really need him for week 15, 16, 17, and he has the potential to get healthy. So I think he's a pretty good. I like these last 3 picks from Mario. I really do. I think it actually makes sense. A lot of sense with his squad too. All right, let's go over these sickos in the chats team. Paul has Eckler, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Mark Andrews, Mike Williams, Swift, Mike Evans, Cam Akers, Cortland Sutton, Goof, Elijah Moore, Derek Carr, David Montgomery, Mike Gesicki, Tank Bigsby, Kendre Miller. He will not be denied 2 drafts in a row. Jimmy Garoppolo, Paris Campbell, Marvin Mims, David Bell, Tyler Scott. Always strong. Always strong. Short Gamer TV, Stephon Diggs, Waddle, Tony Pollard, TJ Hawkinson, Tyler Lockett, Damian Pierce, Rashad Bateman, Tua, DPJ, Josh Downs, Michael Thomas, Romeo Dubes, CJ Stroud, Jordan Love, Penny, Jeff Wilson, Kincaid, Kenny, Eric Gray. Damn, I didn't see Eric Gray go. I have one more guy on my radar that, oh man, I mean, Michael Carter's still there. I'll go either one of these guys. I'm fine with either or. It's a good squad. Malik Davis at the end. We'll go over Leo, Benz. Man, a lot of pounders in the chat. A lot of pounders in this draft. I'm glad you all got in. Really glad you all got in. Carter or Israel? I wish I could do another draft. I'll have to see. My wife will hate me. And we're going to draft a lot this offseason. Like, this is only the beginning. And hopefully you guys learn a thing or two. Potentially how to come back from absolute garbo at wide receiver through 10 rounds. Just showing different options. Typically, I probably have 5 receivers minimum through 10 rounds. So definitely a different strategy from what I'm used to. But I think it turned out okay. Oh, this is not the team. Completed. This is the team. You had Ben. Let's go Leo. Leo had Devontae Adams, Patrick Mahomes, Debo, Christian Watson, Jahmyr Gibbs, George Pickens, Jahan Dotson, Zach. You had AJ Dillon, David Njoku, Elijah Mitchell, Dawson Knox, Leo. Kenny Pickett, Adam Thielen, Patterson, Hurst, Isaiah McKenzie, Brock Purdy, and Richie James. So Purdy, Kenny Pickett, and Patrick Mahomes. Might not have needed Purdy at the end, but I think he got him at a good price. Ben had Tyreek Hill, Saquon Barkley, Travis Etienne, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Jameson Williams, Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, Jalen Hyatt, Schultz, Sean Tucker, Zay Jones, Gallup, Isaiah Hodgins, Zach Evans, Sam Howell, Isaiah Likely, Allen Robinson, who should have a role in this offense next year, going extremely late. I like the pick. Chase Brown and Jake Ferguson, another pick that I like. But when you go Dalton Schultz and Dak, are you hoping Dalton Schultz moves on? That's my question. If you're telling yourself, yeah, I hope Schultz moves on, then I'm fine with going Ferguson. But if you're kind of handcuffing your tight end, so it depends on what you're thinking there. NF42 went Bijan, Devonta Smith, T. Higgins, Pittman, JSN, really stacking the wide receivers after starting RB at the 2 spot, followed by J.K. Dobbins, who's a nice value there. Marquise Brown, James Cook, Kirk Cousins, pairs him with KJ, Kyler Murray, Antonio Gibson, Alexander Madison, Donta Foreman, Claypool, MVS, Zach Ertz, Luke Musgrave, and Irv Smith. So 3 tight ends, 3 tight end build. Yeah, so 3 tight ends in the last 4 rounds. And then Greg Dortch at wide receiver. Guys, that was a fun 2 drafts. I think you guys all have extremely strong rosters. So these will be interesting to see. Even next week, after we get some more news about how these players do in the combine and stuff, it'll be funny to come back and look at your lineups and be like, wow, I have how much % of that running back? And he just ran a 4.5. So it'll be kind of fun to look at. And this is just the beginning. Again, if you're not already a part of the pound, drop the sub, hit the bell for notifications so you can jump on the live stream with us and draft like absolute animals. Also be getting our free draft rankings for this season coming out in about a week from today, free to all the subs. So appreciate you guys coming out. I will catch you on the next one. Pounders.